HOA Brunch, presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. Please sit back, relax, and join Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick for an hour of entertaining information about HOAs and HOA law.
Well, good morning, Sacramento. It's got a little bit of a drizzle outside, but I think we need some more water, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Even though Puxatawny Phil, he was wrong, essentially, since there's more wet weather, and he said we're in the clear.
We were talking about that, right? And so I said, I don't think he predicts what happens in California, and you just sort of laughed at me.
He predicts the whole world's forecast, I thought.
Is that what goes on?
Anyways, we're not the Puxatawny Phil show. We're the Saturday HOA Brunch. We exclusively talk about community associations, and we're back. We're like creeping up on almost 70 episodes, I think,
Wake
right?
up!
Absolutely, yeah. Happy to be here. Happy that our listeners are chiming in now with our new text line.
I know you're anxiously awaiting to give that text line number out, because we had actually a texter from San Diego last week.
Yes.
A lot of questions. She even called the office after the show the following Monday, and just it's great. So give that text line number. I know you're anxiously awaiting to give that text line.
Have you heard that new song?
It's a nice number. 916-747-4622. Is that easy to remember?
If you got a question and you don't want to call in, text in, right?
916-747, like the airplane, 747. That's probably the most popular airplane around, right?
I guess.
The 747?
I would think.
4622.
All right, excellent.
That's
and if
it.
you do want to...
747-4622.
Have you heard that new song?
What new song, Frank?
I'm texting you now.
Well, if you want to call in the traditional way, you can still call in 888-923-1380, 888-923-1380. We love hearing from the listeners.
Absolutely.
And you can look us up on social media, search on Facebook, The Saturday HOA Brunch, or you can visit our website and listen to the previous episodes, www.thesaturdayhoabrunch.com.
A lot of ways to communicate with us.
Absolutely.
And we have Frank Jolly on the sticks.
Yeah, he's a legend.
We have Jonathan Broderick, my co-host.
Yeah, and you, Counselor Brad Epstein. And we have a special guest.
Brad Epstein. Right.
Epstein. That's your radio show name.
Right.
All right. And we have a special guest in studio today. We have Mr. Michael Marshall. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Great to be here, guys. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, Michael, you are the general manager for one of the elite communities in the Northern California, I would say, the Parkway, right?
Yeah, the Parkway at Folsom, over in Folsom, California. Beautiful property.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Parkway.
Well, the Parkway is about 1,900 units total. We've got a little bit of commercial in it, and 1,206 single-family homes, along with a couple of sub-associations to make that 1,900 number, and trails throughout. Certainly public streets, City of Folsom streets, trail areas, but it's winding throughout. It's a tree-laden community, beautiful spot.
Speaking of tree-laden communities, so
fun fact coming out.
This is a zinger. So, Mike, every week what I do is I like to have a zinger, as Jonathan calls them. These are questions that I ask Jonathan about, see if he can answer them. So the really neat thing about the Parkway is it's very environmentally friendly. And Mike, he just mentioned there's a lot of trees there. What happened was the developer, Parker Development, made sure that a lot of trees were planted. You follow me so far? Gotcha. Okay, so my question to you is, and I know it's a guess or an estimate, how many trees were planted when it was developed? Was it? I'm going to give you some choices.
Oh, it's multiple choice today.
Right. I try and make it a little easier for him, Mike. So, was it 1,000 trees? Was it 5,000 trees? Was it 10,000 trees? How many trees?
How many trees?
That's a lot of trees. 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000. That's a lot of trees.
I'm going to say
any one of those.
I'm going to say 5,000.
You are incorrect. Oh, he's usually right on the money.
Sorry, I didn't have time to go out and count them.
10,000 trees.
10,000 trees, really, Michael? Is that a true fact?
Right now, it feels like about 1 million trees
Does
as
it?
they've grown and the roots are everywhere. But yeah, absolutely, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful community.
It is. That's one thing I do want to talk to you about since you brought it up, and that is as an association attorney, I have a lot of issues concerning tree roots. This is the effect of tree roots from the common area to lots, from lots to the common area, and especially in Sacramento, there's a lot of aging communities.
Yeah. Okay. So is this a true fact? Did the Parkway received an award in 2008 from the National Arbor Day Foundation for protecting and saving trees.
That is true.
Wow. Okay, so it's raining today, but we're going to talk about the drought. I know that previously you worked in another elite community, Serrano, and they recycled their water and used it for all of their landscaping and common areas. Another thing that I've noticed, I drive through the beautiful Parkway every day on my way to work, is the Parkway is a very drought-friendly and environmentally friendly community that's kind of ahead in the game, right? So why don't you tell us about some of the things that the Parkway's doing to help conserve water and resources in the region?
Sure, absolutely. So, last year when the drought really hit and we had all the restrictions in place, we kind of took some initiative and gave owners the option. We take care of 1,206 front yards, so all that maintenance, but they pay for the water. And so we teamed with our owners and gave them an opportunity to actually reduce their front yard grass area, do some renovation to that front yard, and association had some reserve dollars set aside for renovation type items. So we teamed with them. We had a handful, not a huge number, but about 15 of them took advantage of that last fall, and we're going to continue that going forward because the front yard grass is great, but it uses a lot of water, and so by doing that, homeowners save. Our maintenance teams that take care of those front yards, those roots that have grown up in grass that make it difficult to maintain, that also benefits us. So it was a great program.
Also, water conservation-wise, mulch. I see in all of the, what are they called, the center divides when you drive through the Parkway. You guys have done an excellent job in providing mulch to help conserve on maintenance and also water usage throughout the community, right?
Right. A lot of the medians around the Parkway we take care of as well, and the governor last year made it so that we couldn't have ornamental turf in that area anymore. So, letting it die, but then also putting the mulch over the top of that to certainly help those trees that are still in the median survive.
Man, that's great. Did you have somebody on the text line already, Counselor? You're over there. You are pretty occupied looking down at this new fancy cell phone that you've got.
I know. I was so preoccupied with the text coming in, I completely missed what Mike was talking about.
He's talking about how great the Parkway is at conserving water.
And what was the
water
program?
Conservation.
You talked about a program?
Well, yeah, we do a little turf reduction in the front yard program that we've worked with our owners. They love it. They've got about 15 or 20 that have taken advantage of it already, and hope to have many more this spring.
And so exactly, can you elaborate on the program?
Sure. We have a maintenance gentleman on staff, great guy named George, who will go out and meet with owners, kind of draw up a plan on how we can reduce turf, add bark and some plants in those areas, redo the irrigation, and reduce that turf, reduce their water usage, and still leave it a beautiful and a great community for the way it is. So.
All right, so let's break that down because this is important and it is related to the text that just came in. But first, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying that the individual owners in the Parkway, they own their lots, right? And they have landscaping in the front yards.
Correct.
And the association maintains, repairs, and replaces the landscaping in the front yards?
We do.
Including the irrigation?
Yep.
But the individual owners, they pay for the water?
Yep.
Okay, so what an owner can do is they can submit an application to the association to have the association modify the landscaping in the front yard to reduce the water usage by, say, reducing the amount of turf in the front yard.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
There are a number of associations in Rockland, especially Rockland, Roseville, that have yards like that where the association takes care of the front yards. However, the individual owners they pay for the water. And what do you think, Jonathan, that a lot of these owners do when they don't want to, because they want to help out in the drought? What do?
They just stop watering.
They turn off their water.
Why
exactly.
not? They're allowed to.
Right, they're allowed to. That's the law during the drought. And incidentally, the drought per the governor is now going all the way through October 16th. It's been extended. So that's a fantastic thing. So how about cost? About what does it cost on average to do that to a yard?
Well, it depends on the size of the yard, but probably around $1,000 is about what it costs per lawn. We're not taking out all of the turf. We're leaving turf. We're still making the continuity from home to home look good. So yeah, I'd say average of about $1,000. And again, depending on what the roots are doing, there's some, if the turf's in great shape but the owner wants to do it, a lot of that's going to be on the owner. They have something in this game too, and they need to be able to pay for part of that. But if the roots are tearing up that lawn and we just can't keep it maintained anymore as turf, then we'll use some of our money that we've got reserved for that.
Understood. Yeah, that's great. So I think a lot of our associations can take advantage of that. I think it's a matter of understanding that if you pay into the capital, pay some money now, you can save a lot in the long run. So you said about $1,000. In the long run, it's going to save a lot in water charges, especially in Sacramento. The water charges are going up.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hey, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more with Michael Marshall, a PCAM. That's the elite designation from the Community Associations Institute.
He's a PCAM. Oh,
yeah,
we
he's
need to
a
talk about
PCAM.
that. He knows a PCAM. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, what else do you want to talk about?
We're going to have breaking news when we come back about a bill that's
All right,
being proposed
sounds good.
by
We'll
our
be
legislator.
back. Stay with us.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Have you ever heard of the saying, a person's home is their castle? Of course you have. But sometimes a construction defect can turn your castle into a catastrophe. If this happens to you, you need proper and professional representation. You need Angius&Terry, LLP. For over 30 years, the attorneys at Angius&Terry have been effectively serving homeowners and community associations, recovering more than $500 million on behalf of their clients. Angius&Terry strives to ensure that your construction defect claims are prosecuted in an aggressive and cost-effective manner. Angius&Terry will also continue to work with homeowners and community associations after the construction defect claims are concluded to make sure that the money received from builders is spent wisely and that your interests are protected during the repair process. Don't let a construction defect turn your castle into a catastrophe. Call Angius&Terry LLP today at 916-567-1400. That's 916-567-1400. Online at angius-terry.com. Angius&Terry LLP. Professional Parking Enforcement, or PPE, was created to provide effective parking solutions for all types of parking issues. PPE focuses on parking problems of HOAs and can quickly eliminate these problems through their system of property inspection, violation updating, ticketing, and enforcement. Contact PPE today at 702-283-0628, online at ppenv.com. PPE, promoting harmony in HOAs through parking and compliance enforcement. We take time to understand your community's needs.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We solve small problems before they become big ones.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We help make your community a better place to live.
Silver Creek Association Management.
It's what we do, because an association is more than just a bunch of homes. It's a community of people. We work with you to make better communities so homeowners can enjoy better lives.
Silver Creek Association Management. Online at sc-manage.com. That's sc-manage.com.
This is AM 1380, The Answer.
All right, we're in studio, the Saturday HOA Brunch, with our PCAM, number 2354. I think we just conferred and agreed that there's like less than 3,000 of these designations in the whole country.
We need to take a little break and then talk about what a PCAM is, because I call it the PhD of community managers, and some call it the master's degree of community managers. But if you say that there's only about 2,354, that's your number, right?
That was
Mike?
my number, yeah.
Okay,
So,
and that was in 2013. So this is in the whole United States since about 1978, I believe, is approximately when it started, when people can get a PCAM. So it's a degree through CAI, Community Associations Institute, and it is difficult to get. Pass rates approximately 58% is what we understand.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about, because if you are a board of directors and somebody comes to your meeting, or not somebody, but a community manager, and they're going to be your manager, and you look at their credentials and you see this PCAM, you're probably in good hands.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit about how tedious the process is and what it takes to get this elite designation from the Community Associations Institute.
Sure, absolutely. So you go through some pretty heavy-duty classes. You got to take 6 kind of upper-level education seminar classes that take you some time. You got to pass those. Then you got to go and you do a full-on case study. I did mine down in San Diego area, and you go on site, you learn all about what that community's about, and then you got about 8 to 10 questions that you got to write, basically a thesis on, and then you're graded on that by the current PCAMs and those that teach the classes, and it's like Brad said, it's a 58% don't really make are passing, so that's 42 that aren't, and
low.
Yeah, it's a tough designation. Many people have to take it multiple times to get through it. But I was fortunate enough and made it through and
smart
certainly
and worked hard.
Yeah, definitely worked hard. Took time.
Yeah, and so it's PCAM, stands for Professional Community Association Manager, and the CAI website, it calls it the pinnacle of community association
I'm still
management.
picking up my jaw off the ground because you said you had 30 days and you had to write an 86-page thesis.
Mine ended up being 86 pages. Yeah, all those questions, you try to get as much information and much knowledge as you can put out there. Some questions to deal with issues, problems that the community may be having, and you just try to make sure you write it concise and thorough, and it some people write hundreds of pages, it just depends.
Jeez. You think you'll ever go get your PCAM?
I was thinking of it, absolutely.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Well, you have to take the classes to it. I'd have to find time for that. Okay, so let's move on over to our newest sponsor, the GB Group. And they provide construction services for the HOA industry, homeowner association industry, apartments, high-rises, mid-rises, communities, along with select commercial projects. And if you want to contact the GB Group to do some reconstruction or to do some construction defect investigations, what should they do? They could go on the website, GB Group, Contractors Consultants. They could get in contact with Megan Svensson, right?
Yeah, she's around.
And I would say go on the website. And Megan Svensson, she's a good friend of ours. She is the Director of Sales and Business Development for California and Nevada. And her email is actually online, meagan.svendsen@gbggroupinc.com.
I hope she gave you permission to give that out.
It's on their website.
All right.
Send that to. Plus, I know her. She's my friend, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so our text line is 916-747-4622. And our first text of the day is a question I'm asked a lot.
You received one?
Yes, and that is, the law provides that an association must allow an owner to replace their lawn with artificial turf. Can an association...
Is that AB 349?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Assembly bill.
All right. So go ahead.
Can an association limit the amount of lawn that is replaced with artificial turf? So can an association say, you can only replace, say, 25% of your lawn with artificial turf? Have some kind of a percentage as far as limiting parameters, reasonable restrictions. What do you guys think?
Let's ask our guest.
I'm going to tell you the answer is it's unknown at this point in time, really. The courts have not
No Southern
determined.
California case law yet?
What do you think? How do you think, Mike, a court would rule on that?
My thought would be that they would not allow you to limit how much. I know we set some guidelines in place when this passed, and what kind of quality, some different standards that they had to
specifications,
guidelines, specs that they had to put in place to do that. We had one owner in the Parkway that did do it right away, but we did not go about limiting how much. They wanted to do their whole front yard, and they did that.
What do you think aesthetically? I mean, is it something that sticks out, or do you drive by and it's just unnoticed? It looks great, it's green, and what? I mean, what's your how many people do you think are going to in the Parkway are going to go ahead and move forward and put in artificial turf, or is this just one guy and he wanted to do it, so he got it done?
Yeah, I think that amount's going to stay limited. It's an expensive undertaking to do that. Like I said, at the Parkway, we maintain their front yards for them. But in this case, it looks pretty good. You can tell it's different. The thought there was they tried to make it look like, put a little thatch in it. The stuff tries to look real now, but at this point, all the grass looks really green from a winter's worth of rain, and so it doesn't look quite the same, but it looks all right. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen some that look pretty good. We have one in my neighborhood, and it looks like it's from a miniature golf course.
Oh, yeah, great. So you've got the big pink volcano that you got to drive by.
Hey, listen, so again, Jonathan mentioned that Parkway did receive the 2008 National Arbor Day Foundation Award for protecting and saving trees, and I did promise I'm a card-carrying Arbor Day member.
Are you really?
Yeah, I really am. So I just wanted to give a plug to that, and on their website they say that trees are simply amazing. They clean air and water, slow climate change, ease poverty and hunger, prevent species loss, and feed the human soul. So when I read that, I said, wow, slow climate change. I said, that's a little controversial because not everyone believes in climate change, or that climate change is caused by industry.
I don't want to get into the climate change.
Yeah, so just wanted to mention Arbor Day and how they're very controversial, trees.
Hey, let's do this. Let's give a shout out, though, to your great board of directors, because we've actually had, and Ned's still on the board, correct?
Ned is our president.
Ned's called in before. He's a great guy. He's really involved in the community. Why don't you talk about a little bit about how great your board is at maintaining, enhancing, and protecting the Parkway, right? Because that's their fiduciary duty.
Absolutely.
They volunteer.
Yeah, they're a great board. I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful board. Ned, as you said, is very involved. He's actually a CLAC delegate, Legislative Action Committee delegate for California North Chapter of CAI. Very involved. I also have 4 other excellent board members. I'll go ahead and plug them if you guys are okay with that.
Do it.
Keith Wilson is our vice president. Paul Kale is our secretary. And then we have members at large of Richard Navarez and Kirk Bone. We also have a treasurer who's not on the board, but he's an officer. His name is Kin. So, yeah, we've got I'm very fortunate to have a great board. Awesome job.
Interesting. So this is something that I'm asked frequently. You just said that you had an officer who's on the board, and this is someone who's taking a treasurer role?
Yes.
Is it an assistant treasurer or the treasurer?
No, he is the treasurer.
He's treasurer. And why did you select this gentleman to be the treasurer?
I think the thought was, he's a CPA. He's got that knowledge, but he's also, time constraints with that job, made it so he necessarily wasn't ready to be a board member at the time, but he took on our treasurer officer position, and he's been dynamic since.
What a smart thing to do. So a lot of associations' bylaws do allow that. You have to look at the association's bylaws to determine whether an association can indeed appoint a non-board member to be an officer. It's a great thing. It's a good business decision.
Any subcommittees out there, or any subcommittees that have certain tasks and designations?
Yes, our biggest one would be our architectural review committee. They're made up of 3 homeowners who have knowledge in architecture and other items, and they're a great group. Lots going on right now. We're doing a painting project out there, so they're getting a lot of painting submittals, and they're volunteering their time doing an awesome job.
What are you guys painting out there?
All the houses. Homeowners got to paint their houses.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to give the breaking news. And
this
is from our
freelance
writer Tim. He's on our staff, Tim Epstein, and latest news about the new bill about association meetings. That is AB 1720.
Can't wait. We'll be back.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com, or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity. The Browning Reserve Group.
Hi, this is Rick Russo, owner of Russo Insurance Agency and Financial Services. We proudly serve Granite Bay, Roseville, Rockland, Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, and the surrounding areas. At Russo Insurance Agency, we like to say, get to know us before you need us. Our insurance agency is built on relationships and trust. If you want to be certain that your most valuable assets are insured correctly, allow us to give you more than just a 15-minute quote. For all your commercial, home, auto, and life insurance needs, call us today at 916-791-1901. That's 916-791-1901, or online at rickrussoinsurance.com. That's rickrussoinsurance.com. Thank you.
If you are a community association or manager, you know your banking relationship is vital to your success. At Sacramento Bank of Commerce, a division of Redding Bank of Commerce, our industry expertise and personal attention make that task a breeze. With our specialized banking, lockbox, online banking, and remote deposit capture, trips to the bank are no longer necessary. And Sacramento Bank of Commerce can help your communities with a loan to repair, replace, or upgrade the investment. For local decisions and in-house processing, get in touch with our team today. Call Sacramento Bank of Commerce at 916-772-0131. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
This is AM 1380, The Answer.
Stand by for the live feed.
Welcome back to the Saturday HOA Brunch. In studio is Mike Marshall, manager, PCAM, no less, with the Parkway in Folsom. Beautiful development. How many homes?
We got 1,206 single-family, 1,900 total units.
That's a big development.
I'd like to know what percentage of residences that is in Folsom. Is there a number? Do you have any idea?
I don't know that number. Folsom's a pretty good-sized community.
It's growing, yeah.
It's having its birthday today. It was on the news. It was
Folsom.
Yeah, it's the 70th birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And I will tell you guys, they are planting about 1,000 trees in the city of Folsom overall this year, so very big tree city, Folsom.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm wondering where they're going to plant those trees.
Man, that's
right
great.
downtown?
You're dancing in your seat, being an Arbor Day card holder and all, right?
Exactly, yeah. Dancing in my seat, no less.
All right, so what's this we have our research writer, Tim Epstein, right?
Right, so he's done some research, and this is about the
hot bill.
The controversial bill, right? We were at a seminar. I was at a seminar, a big seminar, speaking at a seminar for a management company, and one of the attendees said that so many calls have been made to the assembly person, Donald Wagner, down in Orange County about AB 1720. This is the law that provides that an attorney, this is about the bill, that an attorney can, on behalf of an owner, go to any board meeting.
Without notice?
And I'll get into that because there's been a change. And the attendee said that there were so many calls and emails, and Mike, you may know this already, made to the office of Donald Wagner, assembly person down in Orange County, that they had to cut it off. They had to cut off the emails and the phone calls.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal. I was talking to a board president yesterday about this. I said, "What's your opinion on this law this bill? Excuse me, I keep calling it a law. It hasn't been passed. That provides that an owner may bring their attorney to a board meeting." And the board president immediately said, "Oh boy, that's going to cost associations a lot of money. It's going to be good for you, Mr. Epstein, association attorney." And so some changes have been made. So first we're going to go right to the bill, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mr. Wagner. And so
I'd like to get Mr. Wagner to call in. Do you think he'd have time to do that?
Well, I think that we were going to, last time we spoke about this, we're going to get him on the show, right?
I hope so. It'll be fun. I think him and Frank will get along great.
Frank gets along great with everybody. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what the bill had provided, and then I'm going to tell you what it now provides. So it was amended. The way it works is an assembly person or a Senate member will propose a bill, and then it gets amended as it works its way
Toss
through
it
the
around
system.
like a pizza dough, right?
One way of looking. I've never heard it described that way. I've heard it described as a bill is like making sausage. You really don't want to see it happen. So here it is as follows. The board shall permit an attorney who represents a member to attend any board meeting that the member is permitted to attend, regardless of whether the member attends. Where possible, the member shall give the board at least 48 hours advance notice that a person representing them will attend the board meeting. It's been changed. It's been softened. It's been changed to as follows. The board shall permit a person who represents a member rather than an attorney.
So it could be anybody.
It could be anybody. Anybody,
Wow.
right. That's pretty broad, right? A person, so no animals.
No credentials or anything. I mean, you can just be like, "Hey, I'm a hearing professional. If you want me to go speak for you at a
my
hearing,
mommy.
right?
My mommy could
I'm
come
going to bring
to
my
the
mommy
meeting.
and my binky down to
Right.
the board
I
meeting.
belong to a couple associations, so
Is
my
that
mommy
crazy
can come.
or what? What do you think, Michael? I mean, can you imagine some of the yahoos that are going to show up?
Hang on before we get Mike's opinion, because we're going to finish up
All right.
with what it now provides. The board shall permit a person who represents a member to attend any board meeting that the member is permitted to attend, regardless of whether the member attends. And second sentence, so it's just two sentences, not a very big bill. The member shall give the board at least 48 hours advance written notice that a person representing the member will attend the board meeting. So they took out the word possible, they took out attorney, they inserted person, and they inserted that it's a requirement that the board shall give the board at least 48 hours advance written notice that a person representing the member will attend the board meeting. So it's two things. A board shall permit a person who represents a member to attend any board meeting, and regardless of whether the member attends, number one. Number two, the member shall give the board at least 2 days' notice that the person representing the member will attend the board meeting. Mike, what's your opinion on this bill? Put him on the spot.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Well, I see potential issues, certainly. We deal with the members. That's who we deal with. And so by opening that up to a member allowing anyone to come in their place, it just has problems written all over it to me.
I could see it. Oh, here's my favorite magician. He's going to show you this trick, right? Now you see. I mean, you said
hang on.
anyone.
You're stretching.
Oh, this is my pizza delivery guy. He's going to come to the meeting for me, and he's going to.
You're stretching it out a little bit as you do sometimes, because you're really good at breaking it down and seeing all the
I'm just saying
loopholes.
a person. It could be anyone.
But it doesn't say that the board must allow the person to go
Speak?
ahead and right, to speak or do a magical performance.
Oh, so a clown can just show up and make balloon animals for everyone. Why would they?
Why is that a bad thing?
Well, I
Your
don't
example, yeah. All it is just sit there.
It's not an attorney, though. It's a person.
Mike, that raises a good issue. So, because we have open forum, right? And so if a person is able to attend, does that mean
cut the bureaucracy
that the person will be able to speak on behalf of the owner in open forum? The law doesn't say that.
Yeah, it sounds like they could, though, certainly.
That's not such a stretch, right?
No.
Interesting.
I could see possibly have you ever seen the show People of Walmart, where they film all these crazy people walking around Walmart? It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of characters on there. Could you imagine
this is on television?
It's on the internet or something.
Channel
you can
31?
find it. No, that's no Channel 31. But could you imagine when boards now when a person or represent? I could imagine now when someone comes to a hearing, they're going to go, you know what? I'm going to bring my filibuster in. I got this guy. He's going to come in. He's just going to blah 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 blah, entertain everyone, distract everyone. Right? I mean,
well, you just mentioned something. You said hearing.
Hearing, right?
And
or meeting or forum.
Does it doesn't include hearings. Wow.
That doesn't say that. It says any meeting that the owner can attend, and usually if that specific owner has to attend, they're hearing.
I'd like to see some of these boards.
Mike, I like your analysis.
In large communities.
Speaking as a true PCAM. Yeah.
Mount cameras and record.
Good analysis, you guys.
Some of these.
Wait, what?
When they bring their representative, since it can be anybody, then mount some cameras. Let's record this. Let's get some live feed, because I think this is going to turn it. There's going to be some pretty entertaining open forums when you can hire.
Oh, you're going back to your idea of that television show of the people at Walmart. So this would be
the people of hearings.
And I don't know many associations boards that will allow their meetings to be taped and then used on a funny TV show.
Well, in other states, though, you're required to record meetings.
That's true,
right? Like in Nevada.
Required.
But
that's in another state, so let's not blend.
Let's not jump state lines or anything.
All right, so our crack reporter, what he found out was something I find very interesting about Assemblyperson Donald Wagner. His life basically paralleled mine. He was born 20 days earlier than me. He went to University of California, Los Angeles.
Oh, he's a Bruin.
The same years I went there.
Really?
The same years. He received his JD from Hastings. I received mine from McGeorge, and I received mine a couple years later. And he worked for a law firm from 87 to 93. And he, since 1998, been connected with a particular company. And he is a Republican down in Orange County now. Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
And now he's the one that's developed this bill.
And he modified the bill, and we're going to try, Mike. We're going to try and get him in here, or at least interview him, get him on the air. And it looks like he modified the law pursuant to the many complaints by the owners, members of associations, board members, managers.
Jeez, I want to ask this just because now that we've got this hot topic of you can bring a representative to make balloon animals or a magician or comedian, whoever. It doesn't have to be an attorney to represent the homeowner. How many members of the community do you guys have in the Parkway, Michael, that show up and actually want to voice their opinion at the open forum in the meeting?
Well, we're pretty fortunate, I guess, from my perspective, is we don't have a lot of owners come to our meetings, which, there's a lot that goes on at a meeting that's good to attend, but when things are going well, most people are busy, don't have time, but so we don't have a lot come right now. We do have some hearings that happen, obviously, but not a lot of owners come speak at open forum.
Okay. I guess there's a good and bad for that, right?
Yeah.
You're excited. You got the text lines blowing up again. Is it Wagner? Did he text in?
It is not Assemblyperson Wagner that texted, but we do have a text, and it's a question. It is, well, the law specifically stated an attorney before the bill, and now the bill doesn't say that. The way the bill was before, if it said an attorney, then the association would know that they would need to have their own attorney present, right? You want to be armed with your attorney when there's
fair fight.
Fair fight. And so this texter says, well, if it's just anyone that can attend, how will the association know whether it needs to have an attorney present?
Well, they have to give 48 hours notice, right?
They have to give 48 hours notice, but what if they simply say that someo's going to be attending on my behalf? If they say it just like that, without identifying whether
who
it's an attorney or not.
This is going to be...
Well, and I could see it being a professional in another professional in some problem this owner has, whether it's not law, but could be something else, and you bring a professional in, and then you're starting to open up a whole can of worms there. Certainly.
I was just going to say this bill is definitely a can of worms. This is one of the more controversial ones.
You think Clack's going to smash it? You think they're going to just take care of business on this one and throw this thing out? Huh?
Is Clack that powerful?
I don't. Well, I'd like to think so, right? Are they going to they're going to gear up and go to battle? I think so. I got faith in Clack.
You're optimistic.
I'm optimistic that Clack's going to...
They have a voice. We'll see.
Tackle this
they
one.
Have
All
a
right.
Voice.
We're going to come back from the break. We're going to go into our fourth segment of the show. We're going to have some more fun. We have a great guest, Michael Marshall, PCAM, and Counselor Brad Epstein. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026.
The challenges presented by today's economy and rebounding housing market is forcing many homeowners association boards of directors to operate their HOAs more like a business. It's a balancing act of trying to stay solvent and still provide homeowners with quality amenities and services. One of the main challenges HOA boards are facing is attempting to recover unpaid HOA fees owed by delinquent homeowners. Collection efforts are often very time-consuming. If you want to get the HOA fees collection monkey off of your back, call ATC Assessment Collection Group. ATC is an attorney-supervised collection company providing collection and foreclosure services to HOAs in both California and Nevada's most recognizable communities. Get back to what you actually volunteered to do as an HOA board member. Effectively oversee your community. Call ATC today at 916-641-1410. That's 916-641-1410. Online at atcacg.com. That's atcacg.com. ATC Assessment Collection Group. Professional Parking Enforcement, or PPE, was created to provide effective parking solutions for all types of parking issues. PPE focuses on parking problems of HOAs and can quickly eliminate these problems through their system of property inspection, violation updating, ticketing, and enforcement. Contact PPE today at 702-283-0628, online at ppenv.com. PPE, promoting harmony in HOAs through parking and compliance enforcement. We take time to understand your community's needs.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We solve small problems before they become big ones.
Silver Creek Association Management.
We help make your community a better place to live.
Silver Creek Association Management.
It's what we do, because an association is more than just a bunch of homes. It's a community of people. We work with you to make better communities so homeowners can enjoy better lives.
Silver Creek Association Management. Online at sc-manage.com. That's sc-manage.com.
News, opinion, insight. AM 1380. The Answer.
Here we go. We're back. But before we jump back into all this juicy conversation about community associations, I want to give a shout out to our dear friend and sponsor, Bob Browning from the Browning Reserve Group. I hope he is healing up. He had a little incident. I think he broke his patella or something. He hurt his leg.
We all heard about that.
Yeah, so I hope he's out there, and I hope he's got his leg up. He's relaxing, and he's going to heal up. I hope to see him soon, and I hope he can come on the show soon.
BRG, we'd love to have Bob on the show. Yep. BRG, very
another pecan,
popular reserve analyst, and very well respected. He was on the board of trustees for CAI.
Yeah,
and we hope he heals quickly. Text line, again, 916-747-4622. You want to chime in, you can do that as well. And 923-1380. And we were talking about AB 1720, just to say another number.
The Wagner bill.
The Wagner bill. And that has been modified. Now let's go back to Mike Marshall and the Parkway in Folsom.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to talk about was something dear to my heart, enforcement of rules, because this is when associations will bring me in when the real extreme cases. For the most part, associations, boards of directors and managers like Mike Marshall, they're able to handle enforcement of rules. And so you were saying how it's you want to do more consistent, not that you weren't consistent in the past, but be consistent in enforcement at the Parkway at Folsom, and all associations want to do that. And it is difficult. And one of the difficulties I see is that the CC&Rs, they will be a little bit out of date, or they'll have some rules that were put in place by the developer that really aren't applicable nowadays. We're getting a lot of revisions requests by associations on CC&Rs, and we always help associations change the rules. So in particular, are there any types of rules at your development that you see you would like to really do a good job in enforcing?
No, I think just overall consistency, Brad, is what we shoot for there. And you know, it's the job of a manager to enforce those rules. It's never a fun job when you got to go out and tell people that they're doing something that doesn't meet the rules. But, you know, that consistency and doing that job keeps their property values up. And that's our goal there. Again, you know, you have people coming in yelling. They love the rules when it's other people, but when it's them, it always makes it a challenge. So, you know, trying to build that relationship with our owners and have some customer service along with that rule enforcement makes a big deal.
You know, that's really it, because don't you have oftentimes you'll go to an owner and maybe send them a letter, right? I call it a threat letter. Some folks call it a warning letter.
And those letters, they go all over the board. We send
grenade letter,
courtesy notice. It'll say all over it. Some people tell us it's too harsh. Some people tell us it's not enough. You know, you just try to find that happy medium.
Now, do you ever have owners come to you and say, "Gosh darn it, why didn't you just call me up? Why don't you just give me a call?" How do you feel about that?
I think it's a good idea in theory. It just takes a lot of time and staff to do that. You know, I think softening the letters up, not making them so harsh, is really the goal there. A phone call would be nice, but it's labor intensive. It also, you know, homeowners aren't always at home to take calls, and you leave a message. It's really not much different than a letter in the end.
Right. I would say that it is difficult to judge as far as to be consistent when you're calling someone up. So isn't it best to make the letter friendly yet firm?
I agree.
What if you just gave everyone, you know, when you go to a restaurant now on a Friday night and it's crowded, they have those little buzzers that go off. So if everyone in the community just had one of those with them all the time, it's bzz, bzz, oh, it's my turn to, you know.
I think we'd find those buzzers all in the common area thrown away if that was the case.
It's a tendency, though. It's most people, when you have to enforce these rules, they're repeat offenders, right?
Some of them are. Some of them are.
Or they don't know that they're breaking a rule.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, what I like to say is 90% of owners who do violate, it's just a mistake. They just didn't know, and they correct it right away. So it's that last 10% that's a little difficult. Want to thank, before we go off the air, Tim Epstein for his contribution as our crack writer with respect to AB 1720 and the change in that bill.
He told me he only writes for stars. That's a quote right from our crack writer. Hey, Michael, I hope you had fun on the show today.
Had a great time.
I hope you'll join us again sometime.
So appreciative to be here.
We're appreciative of you being here.
Yeah,
and congratulations on being the manager for Parkway. It's only been, what now?
Yeah, First Service, my company, took over in August, so yes.
We got to say hi to everyone at First Service.
Yeah.
What a very extremely professional company. They do such a great job for associations. First Service.
Residential.
Don't
forget the other half of the name. Well, Michael, we hope you'll come back and join us sometime.
I would love to, guys.
We're going to see you probably at the next luncheon or the next pool scotch and cigars tournament that we have.
Something like that,
something fun, because we have a lot of fun in our industry. Everybody drive safe today because the roads are a little bit wet. And, hopefully our buddy Rick DeGruccio is waiting for us, right? Down in the parking lot.
Right, because we have to work today as community associations attorneys. We have to go out to an association. We're going to have a great time, and that association is actually managed by your company.
Yeah, First Service Residential.
Want to thank our listeners.
Do you want to thank the texters?
Want to thank our texters.
Yeah. Who else do you want to thank?
They should write it down, 916-747-4622. I'd memorize it.
I'm probably going to get it tattooed on my forearm just so that I can reference it. Anything else, Michael? You want to give a shout-out to the wife or anything and let her know that you'll be home shortly?
Yeah, I appreciate her putting up with me through all this. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, well... What about, do you want to go cupcake business? You got a cupcake business?
Sure, Jake's Desserts over in Palladio and Folsom. Part owners in that company. Great cupcakes, ice cream, snacks. Try it out sometime.
We love Jake's. Delicious.
Everything you need.
Yes.
Everything you need. All right. Well, I think that's it. You got anything else, Counselor?
That's it. Just want to thank our listeners. You've been enjoying the Saturday HOA brunch. And again, 916-747-4622.
And I promise we'll be back next week.